Okay, first and foremost, I want to give all honors and praises and glory belongeth to my Lord and Savior, whose name is Yahawah, Bahasham, YAHAWASHI, Bahasham, Wahavaka Kwadash. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahawah, and his son's name is YAHAWASHI. And double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that teach this truth well, and that continue to teach this truth well, and to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the few brothers and sisters listening and also learning across the globe. Okay, we're back out here again. This is just resettling myself in the wilderness. So when I'm not in the highways and byways, I'm in the wilderness resettling myself. Okay, but yeah, our Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to get straight to the point, because Yahawashi has commanded us to be what? Watchmen. To look out, look around. Okay, to be observant. So we're going to go to Ezekiel, and we're going to grab Isaiah as well. And I did want to grab 2nd Ezra 9, but it's missing from my Apocrypha. Okay, I think it's 2nd Ezra 9. Okay, when it talks about measuring the times. The prophets were supposed to be measuring the times. We're supposed to be measuring the things that are happening. Okay, all these different things that we're supposed to be measuring it. And how are we measuring it? By the prophecies. So bear me just a minute. We're going to get Ezekiel. It's free. We're not supposed to be going AWOL. How can you call yourself a prophet, but all of a sudden you're going AWOL? Men have just going missing. Here it is, the elder apostles have brought out the decree. Okay. And men, they're not taking heed, they just go missing. So it goes in one ear, and it just goes out the other. That's why YAHAWASHI is setting up true prophets that are going to feed you daily, that are going to be striving for perfection. It's one thing saying, and it's another thing to do. Where you're going to find that there's a lot of phonies and fakers that didn't really understand what this truth was about. But without further ado, we're not going to go back on that topic. We're going to stick with this. Is Ezekiel 3:17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman. So we're supposed to be watchmen to the children of Israel and to the world. We're not just watchmen to ourselves, we're watchmen also to the world. Okay. And to the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth. So we hear these words, we receive it, we see what's going on, and give them warning from me. And that's our duty as a watchman, spiritual watchman, to give you that duty. Okay. That's our duty, to give you what? The news. And to filter everything we see through the scriptures, to let you know what's going on across the world. This is our duty as watchmen. This is our occupation. A watchman is a prophet, and a prophet is a watchman. And what does a watchman do? He's on the tower watching out, looking out. Let's quickly go to Isaiah. How are you going to call yourself a prophet, but you're going missing for 4 days, 3 days? But you claim to have all this faith. Oh, my faith is just great. But where's your works? Where are you? Nobody leaves their sheep 4 days a week without tending to them. I'm sure you go, I'm sure you don't get back from work and you don't jump in a shower or a bath. So if you don't miss having a shower or a bath, why would you miss the word? Because the word, it washes you. So why would you do that? You see what I mean? See, all these things are being revealed. Who's really about the truth and who ain't? And you can't force a man to be in the spirit. The spirit's rather dealing with you, or it's not. Isaiah 62, for Zion's sake, I will not hold my peace. So we're not supposed to hold our peace. In other words, we're not going to shut our mouths. We're going to keep on speaking. No matter how people feel, no matter about their emotions, we're going to continue to speak this word, because Yahawashi commands us to. Whether they will hear, whether they will forbear, as it says in Jeremiah. And for Jerusalem's sake, we're doing this for Jerusalem, Israel's sake. I will not rest. So we're not supposed to be resting. Okay, this is not our rest. Okay. Until righteousness there go forth as brightness. And our righteousness go forth as brightness until Yahawashi comes. Okay. And salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And that's what we're waiting for. We want salvation. That's why we do what we do. We ain't just got our feet up. We're not playing Xbox or PlayStation. Okay? Not lying down with your woman all day. No, we're sincere about this truth. The mission at hand, salvation. I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for some. I can't speak for everybody. Because not everybody has that same zeal. Not everybody has that same passion. Not everybody has that same dedication. Not everybody has that same love. Only a few in these times. And you're already seeing who's about the truth and who's not about the truth. Okay? Verse 6, I have set watchmen upon thy walls. So that word for watchman is natzah. Natzah in the Hebrew. And it says to guide, to look over, to be an overseer, to guard with fidelity. So even when a brother's at camp and he may not be speaking, he's looking out. So when you're at camp, when you're not speaking, you're also observing, you're guarding with fidelity. You're making everything in your proximity is all right. You're looking out. Who's coming up? Who's this? Who's that? That's a watchman. Okay? Upon thy walls in Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. So it says never hold their peace. So that means the watchmen, the true watchmen, would be what? Constantly speaking, constantly talking. Okay? Bringing out prophecies, bringing out what they see around them, being inspired. You have to be spiritually inspired to do this work. Okay? And to keep on going. It shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, YAHAWASHI, keep not silent. So when it says day nor night, an individual with no wisdom would say, day or night, well, don't you have to sleep? Yeah, but when we're sleeping, guess what? Your video's already posted up there from the previous day before. You see what I mean? So it's like a pattern of works. And what? When you're sleeping, another brother is awake in a different part of the globe. Okay? So that's what it means, not hold their peace day nor night. We're going to constantly be talking throughout all the day, from morning to midday, to night, to evening. Okay? That's a true prophet. That's a true watchman. A true watchman is not going to go 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and you don't see him. And he just come out of the woodworks. They come out of their coffin. You know, sounding senile. That's not a true watchman. That's a hireling. The scriptures tell us of all these things in the last days. What shall happen? Okay? And give him no rest. See, YAHAWASHI wants him to give him no rest. You giving someone no rest, you keep on bothering them. And we do that through prayer. We do that through supplication. Give him no rest. Okay? Till he establish until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. That's what we're waiting for us to be a praise in the earth, for us to be established in this kingdom. And the kingdom is within us. Okay? Kingdom is within us. Okay? So many things that happen. Let's quickly go to Luke, Baba Kasha. Luke 21. Important prophecies. Bear with me just a minute. Luke 21, and we're going to go straight to 7. And they asked him, who? The disciples. And this was 2,000 years ago. So they were hastening. Okay? They were hastening to get out of this wicked, wicked world. Okay? And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? They wanted to know, when are these things going to happen? When are they going to be? When was the end of this man's kingdom going to be? When this is Roman system, because this is the Roman system revived. Okay, back again, the fourth beast. Okay, Master, when shall these things be, and what sign will they be when these things shall come to pass? They wanted to know, when will the end of this kingdom? And this is how the men of the Lord, look, all these disciples are back here today. So they're going to have the same spirit. They're not going to have the spirit of complacency, of complacency, being comfortable. No, they're going to have that same mindset. Okay? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And another word for sign is token. A token is a sign. Okay? And he said, take heed that ye be not deceived. So this is YAHAWASHI speaking. Take heed. Pay attention. So for you to take heed, that means you would have to be circumspect. That ye be not deceived. Because right now we're in a time of many deception. And the deception comes in many forms for different avenues. It's not just T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen. It's not just them, which they are what? Deceivers, false prophets. But it's also what? The false prophets that claim to be in the truth. They would be deceiving people in these last days, because the scriptures tell you about many false prophets that shall arise, teaching things they ought not to teach, deceiving the people. So the scriptures warns of all these things, what to look out for. Okay? Take heed that ye be not deceived. Okay? And we're in a very deceptive time right now. And the only way you're not going to be deceived is if you're in YAHAWASHI and you're studying these scriptures and you're studying it the right way. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am, it says Christ here, another for Christ is anointed. So you're going to have false messiahs that try to actually come in a lot the stead of YAHAWASHI. Okay? Trying to set themselves up as some demigod, as a messiah. When there's only one Messiah, and that's YAHAWASHI. Okay? And for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and time draweth near. Go ye not after them. Don't follow them. And that's not just speaking about Joel Osteen. It's speaking about false prophets. False prophets that may be in IUIC, GOCC, GMS, because there's also false prophets in Great Millstone also. And that's for you to discern. Okay, we're seducing spirits on them, teaching things they ought not to be teaching. Okay? And he said, take heed that ye be not deceived. So many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and the time draweth near. Go not after them. Don't follow them. But when you shall hear of wars and commotions, and that also ties in with what? Serapis Christos, Caesar Borgia. Okay? But when you shall hear of wars, bear me just a minute. Sun shining bright today, bear me just a minute. And when you shall hear of wars, so ain't me hearing of that. We're hearing of wars, all these different things. Okay? And what? I hear of wars and commotions. Be not terrified. Look what's going on. Have you been watching the news? You got the latest tension. Russia. You got the latest tension with Russia. And who else? Russia, Ukraine. Okay, that conflict. Which what you had the, what's his name? Is it Blinden? I forgot the name. Blinken or Blinden. Blinken, so lucky if I'm saying it wrong. He's what? Linking up with what? The Ukrainian minister, the president, or whatever you want to call him, doing deals what? To back Ukraine of what? Border issues. Okay. And you got what? The US, what? Washington, through Washington, still putting sanctions on Russia. Okay. Still putting sanctions on Iran. Oil sanctions. And so forth, and different type of form of sanctions. So when you mess with a country's economy, what's that ultimately going to do? It's going to bring war. You mess with an economy's resources, what's that going to mess with? Their money, because their resources is their money. Oil is a resource. Food is a resource. So this is what US is doing, trying to strangle these nations. Okay, strangle their connections. And Beijing have cancelled what the economic meeting with Australia. So they're not willing to do business with Australia. See, all these things are going on. You have to watch the news. You have to watch what's going on. Okay, and where does most of the gas and oil come from? Siberia. That's where most of the gas comes from. So you thinking in the UK, oh, we got gas. Well, where does that gas come from? Siberia. Russia. So if Russia choose to say, you know what, we're not going to sell you gas anymore, this place, boy, oh boy, oh boy, this is why you got to understand what, you got to understand economics, you got to understand geography in this truth. It makes you broaden this truth. It broadens your understanding. You got to know all these things. Okay, then you got China, which are the workforce of the US. Okay, so all these clothes you're buying, you got what? China is southern China. They're making all these what for about £1 a whole day, working a whole day just to earn £1 in our equivalent. And you're buying these trainers for what? 50, 60, 70 pounds, which is made on a little store. ESO pays them small wages. All these things are going on. But China is nothing but What's it? China is nothing but what's the word? A workforce, just another workforce for Esau. Who controls China? It's not the Moabites. The Moabites don't control China. The Rothschilds control China. It's still in their hands. You're thinking China's independent. The Rothschilds control, and there's actually a Rothschild that is what, so-called a Moabite. I forgot his name. So when you see all these things going on, just know China, they're going by the rules and the standards of what? Esau. Okay. China is the major workforce for Esau. Okay. And a lot of things that are produced in China, US, they change the labels and they put USA. It's just that it's produced in China, but they put USA on it. Okay. This is real. Okay. So these are all part of what? The commotions. But we're not supposed to be terrified by these things. And you also got what? Uproars in Colombia. Okay, you got uproars in Colombia. Okay. All these different, and you still got people getting vaccinated more than ever. All these things are happening. All these are science. If you can't see these things, if you can't see we're at the end of the world, I don't know what to tell you. This is the end of the end. Okay. And be not terrified. Why does it say be not terrified? For these things must first come to pass. Because these prophecies, they need to come to pass. All these things need to play out. So it says, be not terrified. Don't be shaken by these events that you see happening. Okay? But the end is not by and by. Okay, so these things first need to come to, but the end is not by. Why is that not the end by and by? Because the RFID chip. That's the next stage. Right, you got the vaccinations. You got people running to these. You got people running to these vaccination centers. And I've seen it firsthand. People just going into these vaccination centers, not giving a damn, just getting jabbed. I'm sure some of your family members have just got it. They're just taking it. So this when it's separation, you're gonna have to walk by your integrity. And if you're not walking by integrity now, what makes you think you're gonna start walking by integrity when all this goes down? Only a few men really in these days you're really seeing that have integrity, that are really about the truth. Where is it? A lot of men, they're going AWOL, nowhere to be seen. They just talk. They talk a good one. That's what the scripture says in James. Be a doer of the words. A doer. And not just a hearer only. Deceiving your own selves. This is about putting this truth into action. Being action orientated. Wanting to get out of here. This is not our rest. Okay. When he said unto them, nation shall rise against nation. And we're seeing that, and we're seeing it increase. Okay. And another thing, you had the French ships that were in the UK. You had French ships in the UK. Okay. Something to do with what? The post-Brexit deals. Okay. So all these things are happening. All these things are what? Signs of the times. Okay. I've got this bee over here. Let me just a minute. You know, well, the scriptures say even the beasts, even the animals shall be at peace with you. Let me just a minute. And kingdom against kingdom. Before they were kingdoms, they were nations. They started off as nations. They became what? Kingdoms. So these are the things we see. Okay. And they're rising against each other. Okay. And where else? 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. So this is what we would see in these last days. Great earthquakes. Okay. All these things we would see in these last days. Okay. It shall be in diverse places. Where was one? Iceland, Italy, Guatemala. You still got an earthquake in Guatemala. And guess what? That's destroying what? The foods. It's destroying the coffee fields. They were putting up a prayer to what? Caesar Borgia yesterday. That the volcano will cease and the so-called COVID-19 will die down. Okay. Praying to Serapis Christus. But Serapis Christus does not hear them prayers. That's why we push the name of YAHAWASHI. He's only going to deliver you from these things. He's the one that's controlling these things. Everything you see going on, YAHAWASHI is orchestrating that. And earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences So even pestilences, okay, disease warfare, biological warfare. You see, you worried about the COVID-19. Don't you know Esau's got other chemicals in his laboratories that he's getting ready to release? So it's not just going to be one. Right now you're worried about the COVID-19. There's going to be others. There's other strains that Esau has got in his laboratories. This ain't nothing new. Look up the CDC Center, Center Disease for Control. Center Disease for Control. Center Disease Control Center, yeah. Why does it say control? Because they're controlling these diseases. When they want to release it, when they want to hold it back. Different strains. You're worried about all this thing, Ebola, AIDS. These were all man-made viruses that Esau created in his laboratories. They tell you AIDS comes from monkeys. No, it doesn't. That's rubbish. Esau has formed all these things. Why? Because YAHAWASHI put the spirit on this wicked man to do these things. This man is as death. This man is as hell. Okay? And fearful sights and great sights shall there be from heaven. And them fearful sights, they're the chariots. They're fearful to the people that don't know what them chariots are. Okay? And that's why the scripture says, be not dismayed by the signs of heaven. Okay? And great signs shall there be from heaven. And we're seeing all these different great signs. These are all the signs of the times. These are the last days. These are the last days of the last days. Okay? But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you. And that is the next step. Certain brothers are going to be what? Grabbed up. That's the next step. But we're not worried about that, because guess what? The elect are in YAHAWASHI's hands. We're not concerned about that. Okay? And Lord willing, those that are doing the work deceitfully, Lord willing, that applies to them. Because they're the ones that should be grabbed up by the feds. Those that are not doing this work sincerely. But if you're doing everything you should be doing, YAHAWASHI is going to make a way for you to escape in temptation. Because right now we're going through various temptations. Many temptations. And them temptations are leading up to the bigger temptation. The trial, Jacob's trouble, martial law, the RFID chip. And you know what that entails? Esau putting a chip in your head, which is the RFID chip, as it mentions in Revelations 13 and 16. He calls it all rich, well, small, great, rich, poor, to receive a mark in their foreheads, and whoever receiveth not that mark cannot buy or sell. So right now it's really going to be survival of the mentally fittest, survival of those that have faith in YAHAWASHI. Was you really about this word, or was you just going through the motions? This is what it's going to come down to. Every man's work is going to be tried. Every man's work is going to be proven. What type of work is it? Is it going to stand? Is it that work of gold, or is it just chaff, wood? Every man's work is going to be tried. This is how serious this truth is. Okay? This is how serious this is. This is not a joke. This is serious business. Okay? And persecute you, delivering you up to synagogues. So certain men are going to be brought before what? These buildings. Okay? These corporate offices. Okay, should I call it? Yeah, a lot of these corporate offices, these corporate buildings. Okay? And when it says some of you shall be brought up, okay, before synagogues and prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake, remember, it's for YAHAWASHI's sake, for the testimony. Okay? And it shall turn to you for a testimony, for a witness, because you have the witness of YAHAWASHI. And what do they want to do? The wicked, they want to stop those that have the testimony of YAHAWASHI. Okay? And that's why you got, well, individuals, Esau and the wicked of our people, keeping data, gathering intel, and what? Giving that what? To what? Esau. Okay, to keep a track on us. But we don't care about that, because the Lord YAHAWASHI is watching them. Okay? YAHAWASHI tells you to fear him. Don't fear men. Okay? Settle it therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what ye shall answer. Okay? So we're not going to need to settle it. Think, oh, what am I going to say? Why? Because this is what you got to understand. When we talk about these scenarios, Every brother has a different lot. Every brother has a different journey. This is not going to happen to every brother. Every brother has a different journey. You do know every brother's not going to be in the terms of persecution. Not every brother's going to have to go. Look, YAHAWASHI knows what you can handle. So if you're, YAHAWASHI knows if you can handle being in prison or not. YAHAWASHI, so you see what I'm saying? YAHAWASHI knows that. Remember, he's not going to put you in a situation, and he will not tempt you above your measure. So YAHAWASHI is not, if he knows you can't handle prison, he's not gonna put you in that situation. If he knows you can't handle death, he's not gonna put you. This is why you gotta be spiritual. The men that are gonna be able to, and that's spirit, because I just saw 777. The men that can handle particular things, YAHAWASHI is gonna put the spirit on them to be able to deal with those particular things. This is why you have to be spiritual. Men are carnal. Okay, that's why they fear these things, because they're carnal. Okay, and men push the narrative. Oh, this is gonna happen. No, you don't know unless you're YAHAWASHI. We know that these things are gonna happen, but we don't know who to. Okay, and those that come across particular scenarios, that's their lot. This is why you have to be spiritual. You have to be spiritual. Everything we go through, you have to be spiritual, and the Lord's gonna give you the spirit to overcome whatever scenario. Okay, remember Peter, when the angel, he was in prison, what happened? The angel what? Blinded, put the deep sleep upon what? Them centurions, the guards. Okay, and had YAHAWASHI. So like it had Peter, the angel kicked Peter, okay, and had him get up and get out of them prison cells. So again, spiritual. This is what happens when you have faith. When you have faith, you're not in a spirit of doubt, uncertainty. Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Are you going to get them moments at times? Yes. But guess what overcomes that? Faith. So if you have faith, you're going to be able to overcome these things. But guess what? If you go missing, you go AWOL, and you're not doing the work, you're going to start what? Pushing that doubtful spirit again. What if this happens? What if that happens? Because you're not in the word. So again, the word is a covering. The word is a comfort. Okay? For I will give you a mouth and wisdom which all your adversaries shall not be able to what? Gainsay nor resist. So our enemies are not going to be able to gainsay nor resist this word. Gainsay means speak against. Because you've got many of our people, the wicked of our people, their whole thing is just, they're not even sincere. They don't really believe. Their whole thing is to try and disprove that what we're saying is true. That's their whole goal. Okay, because they're carnal. They don't believe. So if you don't believe, your whole purpose is going to be trying to disprove the Bible. But they're only doing that to their own destruction. See, it's not just Esau that does it, it's the wicked of our own people that do that as well. They want to scoff, they want to gainsay. Okay. You know, they want to come up against the truth. You know, they want to buck up. But guess what? That's only to their own destruction. Okay. That is only to their own destruction. Okay. Which all your, what does adversary mean? Enemies. So our enemies are not going to be able to gainsay this word at all. Okay, no matter what, shall be able to gainsay nor resist. Okay, and these people are so demonic. If it was up to them, they would try and take us out. These people, they want to put their hands on you. So if you're an ambassador for YAHAWASHI, and men, they want to put hands on you, that means they would do the same thing to YAHAWASHI. So all these things further prove who is who. If a man's teaching the words, and you want to put hands on him, what does that say about these individuals? They're demons. They were trying to do the same thing to YAHAWASHI. These are, the scriptures talk about that. Brute beasts. Brute beasts without reasoning. Carnal men. Brutish. Okay. But guess what? YAHAWASHI has what? Got destruction for these same individuals that do things like that. The scripture says, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm. Guess what? We don't fear that, because what did YAHAWASHI say to Pilate? You will have no power over me, lest it be given unto you. So anything that Satan or anything that anybody does, that's, see, again, being spiritual. Sometimes we're in the flesh, we don't understand because you're in the flesh. But being in the spirit, you understand. Anything anybody does, that's YAHAWASHI that sent that upon you. So even when Satan comes up against you, because when it says Ephesians 6 and 11, which we go into later on in another lesson, Lord willing, when it talks about them spirits, well, wrestling against spirits, where do you think them spirits are? Them spirits are Yeah, they're in the atmosphere, the spiritual demon Satan, but them spirits actually inhabit vessels. So these spirits actually inhabit men's vessels. Okay? These spirits that we're speaking of inhabit men's vessels. Okay? And it uses these men to what? To do mischief. Okay, to come up against the man of Lord. But that's, see, again, that's for their own destruction. Because once them spirits leave particular men, what happens? Like, people do things to you in this world. Then, after, when them spirits leave them, they're looking bugged out. What happened? Like, what happened? Why did I do that? That's because they didn't know they were controlled by spirits. Them spirits on the left-hand side, oh, why did I? But it's too late. So a man could say, oh, them spirits are gone now. Why did I do that? But no. You're still going to be held accountable for that particular thing. You can say, oh, it was Satan, I never knew. No. If you were messing around with the men of the Lord back then, 2,000 years ago and longer than that, you're going to be doing the same thing today, only to your destruction. Everybody's in their lot. Everybody's playing out their role. Okay? And that's why you want to be on that right side of YAHAWASHI. Those that were what? That were for YAHAWASHI, not against him. Okay? And you shall be portrayed by for parents and brethren. And how do you know that? Because your parents, they don't care. They're running to the vaccine. Okay? They're running to the vaccine. The people of your family, they're for this world. Okay? And that's why you're supposed to, the more you're in this truth, you're supposed to be what? Detached from this world. Okay, you're supposed to be detached from this world. More and more and more. And the only way you can detach yourself from the world is by being in the truth. That's how you detach yourself from the world. If you're not in the truth, that means you're becoming attached to the world. Because you can't have it both ways. The scripture says you cannot serve two masters. You either hate one or love the other. Okay? We're going to let this video go to 40 minutes, then we move on. Bear me just a minute. And you shall be betrayed both by parents. So even some brothers, they're going to be betrayed by their parents. Why? Because your parents are with the system. Remember, anybody that's not in this truth, they're a potential agent. Anybody that's not in the truth, they're a potential agent, a double agent. Okay, so you got many double agents. Okay, that's why you got to be careful who you tell your business to, who you speak to, because there's many double agents. You may have a man that comes to camp, but after camp, he could be running to the authorities. He could be running to Esau, his handlers. There's many things going on. And if you don't think this is going on, then guess what? You're deceived. Because the scriptures tell you these things would happen. Okay? Brutish men that can't judge nothing. Because they're brutish, they're carnal. Okay? And you shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren. Okay? And another thing, if you... No, actually, forget that. And king's folks. Okay? Even... And when it says brethren, so like it, and by brethren, false brethren, because it's going to be false brethren in the truth. The scriptures talk about that. False brethren crept up in this truth unaware. Okay? There was going to be false brethren. Okay? And king's folks. Okay? And friends. Okay? King's folks, relatives. Because you may have a relative, you may even have, it could be a cousin. I don't like what he's doing. No, man. I'm ringing up the authorities. Bro, even cousins. So this way you got to be aware. You got to be circumspect of your surroundings. You got to be circumspect with the people around you. Okay? Because you never know what demons might be in their heads, especially if they don't believe in the truth. Because you got a lot of actors, a lot of pretenders. Okay? A man can say, Khan, yeah, but he might just have demons all up in his inward parts. He may be looking to give you over because he's for this system. Okay? As in Matrix, these people are so heavily dependent and they are willing to fight for this system. The scripture says, use the word but not abusing it. Okay, so there's certain things we do in this society where we can earn a bit more money, and that's it. Okay? We've got individuals that are carnal. Okay? Oh, you know, you can't, does this mean you can't have a bank account? Yeah, but that bank account, eventually, it's gonna what? The bank machines are going to be done away with. Does that mean you can't have a bank? Come, be spiritual. Stop being carnal. A lot of you are carnal. That's why the apostle said, we don't put our trust in gold, but if any of you got gold, you invest in a bit of gold, but that's not going to save you. A lot of individuals out there are carnal. Okay? Oh, the economy's going, so it's not good. You should just chuck away your debit card. You're carnal, man. You're carnal. You're not spiritual. A lot of men are already carnal. You know? As one individual was saying, you know? You speak to certain individuals and you realize this guy is really carnal. He's not really as spiritual as you think. This guy's really a nigger. He's really a nigger, man. A 15-minute video, you're just blabbering. You're not really saying anything. You know, because see, every man's work is being tried. It's easy when you're around a whole group of men. Yeah, I have faith. But when you're by yourself, who are you? Is the scriptures really in you? Are you really living this? Or are you acting? Are you just putting on an act? And show your face. Why don't a lot of you want to show your face? Show your face. Oh, I know why. Because the people see you're full of shit. That's why. Okay. Show your face. A lot of reason why men can't show their faces, because a lot of men, they have the spirit of sodomy, and the scripture says their countenance beareth witness against them. You even got men in this truth that they're for homosexuality when the scriptures are against homosexuality. The scriptures are against sodomy in any form or way. But you got men that are for that. You got men that will call us, what's the word? What's the words? Oh, he's homophobic. Well, the scriptures tell you you're supposed to be against these things about homophobia. So that means you're for it. That means you're for these things. If you're not against it, that means you're for it. You're for bestiality. Got the helicopters. See, Esau's watching. Esau is watching, man. Esau is watching everything. Bear me just a minute. Let me turn around instead. Yeah, Esau's definitely watching, man. You see what I mean? Got his helicopters out here, scoping us out. Okay. They know, man. You think Esau don't know? They know what's going on. Okay. They know what's going on. So let's further continue. Yeah, what was I going into? Yeah, that's that. You couldn't see. That's what Esau calls it. Oh, you know. Oh, it's hate. It's hate. What do the scriptures tell you? To love the good and hate the evil. So if you're for homosexuality, that means you're evil. Oh, you know, we're speaking about women. Oh, that's misogynist. That's because you're a faggot. That's because you're soft. That's because you're effeminate. Okay, and everything is being revealed in these last days. Okay, everything. Their witness does bear witness. Their countenance. Okay, acting like you're Mr. Macho. And I've always said this. Someone that's tough. They don't need to act like they're tough. And the people that are tough, they don't even really show it. Because a tough man can look frail. Do you know that actual tough man can look frail? But he's tough, and really, toughness is really mentally. Because you could be tough for the outward, you could have these muscles, the lats, okay, strong cheek muscles, all that rubbish, but really you're soft, you're weak mentally, you're weak, you're soft. So what does that mean? It's all about being what? Strong mentally. That's why it talks about the house of David. The house of David, they were mentally strong. David, he was mentally strong. Because if he wasn't mentally strong, okay, he would not be able to what? Defeat Goliath. It started with faith, so it's all about your faith. I don't care how much muscles you got. I don't care how big your quads are, how big your triceps are, how big your lats are. That doesn't mean anything. Because these same men, they're soft, they're weak mentally. So it's about your faith. At the end of the day, it's about your faith. Is it a plus? It's a plus if you have what do you call it? Brunes. Okay, if you have some brunes and you have strength as well, that's a plus. So if you're mentally strong and you're mentally strong physically, that's just a plus. But it's really about what? Faith. Your faith is what makes you mentally strong. Without that, you're weak. Without that, you're going to be pushing what? Insecurity, doubt. Okay. That's not the spirit of faith. That's the spirit of doubt. Okay. So what we have is powerful. What we have. This truth. This word. Okay, especially mixed with what? Belief, because it's impossible to please the Lord without faith. So these things are what? Are fundamental. Okay, let's switch it back round. So these things are fundamental. Okay, our faith, it's our faith in YAHAWASHI. That's what's going to get us through, nothing else. Okay, verse 17, and you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. So it says hated. You got men pushing the narrative that, oh, you're supposed to be loved. Nobody's got anything bad to say about us. Well, them, all right, you keep that same energy. Nobody's got nothing bad to say about you. You keep that same energy, because when that time is presented, okay, people are gonna have all manner of things bad to say about you in that time. You know, them same individuals that you wanted to be in good standing with, the world. We don't care about that. It's about the favor of YAHAWASHI. Okay, so you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. So that says all men, the world. Okay. In your patience, possess your souls, which goes into self-restraint. So you having that faith, you're going to be self-restrained, just like YAHAWASHI. Okay, he was self-restrained when he was in all these different scenarios. He did not act out for impulse. Okay. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, and this happened, what, back in 68 to 70 AD. Okay, General Vespasian and Titus and Domitian that ranked at Jerusalem. When know that the desolation thereof is nigh. But it's the same thing's going to happen, because history repeats itself. The scriptures say in Ecclesiastes 3, nothing is new underneath the sun. Okay, the things that have been before shall happen again, paraphrasing. So all these things are going to happen again, but guess what? You need to have the faith to know that you're going to be protected in these times. Okay, so I'm going to shut off here. I don't want to make this lesson as long as usual. I'm going to shut off here, and Lord willing, this was edifying to the hopeful elect. And keep on pushing. Those of you that have faith, that are maintaining that integrity, continue to maintain it, because you're going to be looked after. Those that are not really sincere about the truth, don't worry about them. Do what you have to do, okay, for your own salvation and for the brothers that are like-minded. Until the next time, shalom, shalom.